Welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars, the cozy corner where headlines turn into heartbeats and every whisper becomes a story worth feeling. Take a breath and sit close, because what we share today isn't a rumor tossed around for clicks. It's a moment that traveled from a snow-bitten Moscow night all the way to Istanbul's warm embrace, and it will make even the most skeptical believe that modern fairy tales still find their way into real life. Before we step onto that red carpet together, remember that your support keeps this family going. Subscribe, ring that bell so you catch every spark of news, and if you want to join our inner circle, hit the join button. Your presence, your words, your energy, this is what keeps Secrets Behind the Stars alive. Now come with me to Russia, where Ebru Şahin quietly took control of destiny in a way that no script could choreograph. The entertainment world loves perfection. Rehearsed smiles, measured answers, every angle managed down to the millimeter. But in Moscow this week, ice couldn't keep something warm and human from melting through the careful veneer. Ebru was there to present her latest film, a shadow and light thriller hailed as a turning point. The cameras were ready, the critics poised, the translators waiting, yet none of them, not one, was prepared for the premiere that stole the night, Ebru's life overtaking the fiction she came to promote. Moscow's wind had a bite, its sky a stubborn gray, and perhaps that's why the warmth trailing behind the Turkish star felt almost elemental. As Ebru stepped onto the red carpet, the air itself changed. The most eagle-eyed fans, the ones who freeze-frame interviews, who study hemlines like clues, noticed it first. Known for silhouettes that honor her athletic lines and red carpet daring, Ebru drifted in wearing something different. A dress that flowed instead of sculpted, that moved like water instead of clinging like a second skin. It wasn't just fashion, it felt like a secret wrapped in fabric. Social media lit up in a chorus of soft gasps. Maybe it was the weather. Maybe a fresh aesthetic. Or maybe, just maybe, the sweetest reason of all. The press conference began as these spectacles usually do. Questions about artistic choices, about the challenge of acting in unfamiliar cities, about how Turkish cinema keeps expanding its reach. Ebru glided from answer to answer with the poise she's earned, the kind of luminous calm that can't be faked. But fate is a trickster with impeccable timing. A Russian journalist, voice cool and steady, asked the unsaid question everyone's glances had been spelling out. Your fans say there's a glow about you, an extra light. Is there a particular reason for this change? Silence landed like snow. A ripple of nervous laughter crossed the front rows. Ebru didn't dodge, didn't hide behind media training or polite evasions. She inhaled, allowed her eyes to brim with honest tears, and let the glittering armor fall. With a soft tremor in her voice that somehow made her stronger, she said it in her own way, there's a baby on the way. A hush broke into applause at the back of the room, and in an instant, that applause surged across the space, turning cameras and journalists into an audience for a moment of pure life. They weren't clapping for a celebrity. They were celebrating a woman, a mother-to-be, the miracle nestled beneath the dress that now made perfect sense. Her hand drifted to her abdomen with an instinct as old as time. She smiled with the relief of finally sharing a sunrise. I don't want to keep this joy hidden anymore, she explained, I'm living the brightest chapter of my life. A single image, a single confession, traveled past borders in seconds. Turkey cheered, Latin America resonated, Europe echoed back. The queen of on-screen romance had stepped into the most enduring romance of all. But every tale this luminous has two hearts beating at its center. Instantly, curiosity turned toward the father, Akin Akınözü. How did the man who has moved audiences alongside her, the intense, eloquent star known for that steady gaze, take the news? Ebru opened the door a little wider, inviting everyone into a moment private and fragile and real. When I found out, I was shaking, hands, breath, all of it, like fear and happiness had collided, she confessed, turning nerves into poetry. Distance made the revelation heavier. Akin wasn't next to her when the test turned positive. She couldn't hold it in, so she called. I told him there was something important we needed to talk about. Those simple words became a drumbeat. They met at home, away from flashbulbs. She showed him the proof, and the man so fluent with dialogue fell into a speechless, shimmering quiet. It lasted only a heartbeat. Then he wrapped her in a hug that felt like a promise. "This is the greatest gift I've ever received," he murmured, voice breaking just enough to make it unforgettable. Ebru laughed through tears as she told how quickly he shifted gears. He's already measuring corners, thinking about wall colors for a nursery, asking friends about cribs, and planning Sunday cartoons. He keeps saying we're going to make the kind of home a child runs back to, even after seeing the world. The picture she drew of him, attentive, protective, almost hilariously meticulous, made the whole auditorium glow. "And here, dear Secrets Behind the Stars family, we want to hear you." Could you imagine Akin picking paint swatches and arguing with himself about pastel versus warm neutrals? Do you see him as an overprotective guardian or the parent who turns the living room into an adventure park? Tell us everything in the comments, and if this exclusive already has you smiling, tap that like so we can keep bringing you stories with a heartbeat. There are rare moments when life and art mirror each other with eerie tenderness. The film Ebru, presented in Russia, follows a woman climbing out of darkness to rediscover her purpose. On the microphone, Ebru reflected on the uncanny timing. "We tell the story of a woman who finds herself and reconnects to life," she said, "and while that character is reborn on screen, I'm beginning again in my own way, as a mother. It felt like fate chose this exact project, this exact week." As she spoke, her news took on a glow that felt bigger than biology, a kind of quiet consecration. Practical questions arrived, as they always do. How will this change her calendar, the projects lined up, the roles waiting? In a world that too often asks women to pick a side, career or motherhood, Ebru answered with a calm manifesto of power. "I'm moving forward with medical guidance. Yes, I'll delay a few things. But being a mother will be the most meaningful work of my life." She wasn't abandoning ambition, she was rearranging it with clarity. "I've always believed a woman can carry a dream and a child at the same time," she added. "Balance is the art I'm choosing." You could feel the message reaching every woman watching. Motherhood isn't a detour, it's a new engine. One detail from home tugged at hearts. Before traveling to face Moscow's winter, she and Akin talked about whether to share the news now or wait. He offered the kind of support that never demands credit. "If you want to tell the world, tell them. If you'd rather keep it just ours for a while, then we'll do that. I'm with you either way." That sentence cradled the essence of a healthy love, respect for autonomy, loyalty without conditions. Ebru chose transparency, buoyed by the safety of being loved well. And of course, the whisper mill started to hum. While Ebru said it's early to know the baby's gender and that she prefers a genuine surprise, murmurs in close circles claim that Akin, in private, hopes for a daughter. The image is irresistible, the commanding actor softening into a puddle at the first tiny ponytail. Ebru distilled it to the universal wish. Healthy, happy, loved, boy or girl, that's all that matters. Still, you could see a spark in her eyes at the thought of a little girl tracing her mother's award plaques with curious fingers. This tiny heartbeat has already shifted Ebru's artistry. Speaking to international reporters, she admitted her compass has turned. It won't just be about prestige or box office future-proofing anymore. There's a small person on the way who will someday watch her work, and that realization has weight. "From now on, I'll choose parts with two lenses, my craft and my child's eyes. I want to play women whose strength and dignity make my son or daughter proud." With that, she raised her own bar. The baby, not yet here, is already sharpening the story she'll tell the world. Announcing this far from home also sent a message about who she is now, not only Turkey star, but a global face, a voice heard in multiple languages. "I wanted to share good news with everyone who follows me, not just one city or one country," she said. The red carpet in Moscow rolled up at night's end, the spotlights cooled, but the light in Ebru's eyes felt permanent. What unfolded wasn't merely celebrity chatter. It was a woman stepping into her future with open hands, her partner steady at her side, their love widening to welcome one more heartbeat. Akin and Ebru, the duo who taught us how longing and loyalty look on screen, are setting off on the hardest, sweetest journey of all, building a family. Here at Secrets Behind the Stars, we'll be right here for every gentle milestone. The first ultrasound frame that takes over the fridge, the nursery colors picked at last, the stuffed animals gathered one by one, and the day we meet the little miracle who started all of this with a shimmering secret in Moscow. The story of aka Ebru is entering its most tender chapter, and it promises laughter, tears, and the kind of joy that rewrites schedules and priorities with one tiny yawn. What do you think, dear friends? Will it be a boy or a girl? Which names do you hear when you imagine their lullabies? Fill the comments with your guesses and blessings. We're aiming for the biggest chain of good wishes on YouTube. Don't forget to click like to celebrate with them, subscribe so you don't miss a single heartbeat, including the gender reveal, and if our work brings you closer to the stars you love, consider joining to support our independent voice. Thank you for being with us, for sharing this thrill, for turning news into community. Stay close, stay kind, and keep your eyes on secrets behind the stars. The next exclusive is already on its way, and we'll be here to tell it the way it deserves to be told.